morning, Flosstube. It is Wednesday the 15th of May and I thought I'd take you for a ride with me this morning before I upload my vlog. I'm loving Maynia, loving it to bits. I really thought I'd struggle. I am struggling putting projects away, but I'm just loving something new and all the variety to choose from once Maynia finishes. So, oopsie daisy, watch where you're going. Come on. So we're out on a bit more of a chilly autumn day today with the dogs, having a bit of a bush ride, just chilling out. Aren't we, Perry? We've got the patchy one out today. So if you're new to my channel, this is not the ordinary. Normally we're sitting in a chair talking about stitchy stuff. And if you're returning, thanks again for coming and hanging out with me and checking out all my Maynia starts. Come on. Helps if I concentrate with what I'm doing, but... So I will start my vlog and I'll chat to you later. I just wanted to say thank you. I've had so many new subscribers in the last couple of months, which is so overwhelmingly wonderful. And I do love all the comments and likes that we get in the Flosstube community. So thank you guys. It just gives me the oomph to keep going, to keep stitching, keep floss tubing, and just keep enjoying our passion that we love so much, that keeps us calm and grounded. Welcome to Wednesday the 8th of May. Now my Tiny Decisions app spun up Celtic Santa, which is a Mill Hill kit. Now technically this is already started. I got this chart off a Stash Unload, not realising that it had already been pre-started, but that's okay. But it is a new start for me, so I'm adding it into my wheel of new starts. So I haven't done beading before. I haven't stitched on perforated paper before, so this will be interesting. So we've got a bit of a start here already done from the previous owner of the chart. So I'll check back with you in an hour and show you where I am. Of course, I'm not going to get to the beading today. It's just working on Santa. Time to call it a day for this little guy. I've worked on him on and off all day, putting in a couple of threads here as I went. So I did maybe 10-15 minutes, got up and did something else and then came back to him. So I'm not sure exactly how much time I've spent. I probably spent more time undoing that mess of a floss and getting them onto floss cards than I did. No, actually I did do a fair bit of time with him stitching. So what I've done is the plaid and also his stick here as well. So ready for a new start tomorrow. Week 2 of Stitch Maynia and still no quilting bee. I'm sure it'll pop up soon. Today's Wednesday the 8th of May and we're officially into week 2 of Stitch Maynia. My Tiny Decisions app has pulled Jingle bells for me today to start on. This chart, I'm not sure how old it is, I couldn't find a year on it. I picked this up off Michelle Bendy's D-Stash page not long ago. So I'm going to be focusing on the wreath for Maynia. I would like to also do the 2 little reindeers, but that'll come at a later time. So I'm going to be stitching this on 32 count white even weave, and I've picked some flosses out of my sort of leftover pile, and I've also picked out an anchor. I haven't used anchor before, so we'll see how that goes in comparison to the DMC. So I'll touch back in once I've put at least an hour into the wreath. I'm hoping it might be a quick stitch, but then it looks like it could have quite a bit of counting in it. So I'll come back shortly. This is tonight's progress on the wreath with the Jingle bells chart. Bit fiddlier than what I thought it would be, so it is going to take a long time to do that little wreath. Hopefully we'll see the quilting bee tomorrow. Today is Friday the 10th of May and my Tiny Decisions app has pulled up one of my market purchases, which I am thrilled about. Was looking forward to starting this one. the yellow polka dot Bikweenie, which is super cute by Plum Street Samplers. Now this has got a sort of a cream coloured fabric. I'm really drawn to using this blue Ada, which is a 20 count Ada that I've had in my stash. Being that it's lots of different colours, I'm hoping it'll work well. And I've got a jumble of different flosses here. I pulled all the DMCs, but I felt they were a bit muted for what the pattern has shown. And the pattern has a different, like lots of different fancy floss. So I've pulled what I have from my stash. So I've got some Colour and Cotton, Victorian Motto, Weeks, some Silks for You, DMC of course, and some of my own dyed floss, which will be the blue that I'm going to use for the flower in there, because the blue that was called for would have looked a bit washed out. So I'll come back to you once I've done my hour on this one, if not a little bit more, because I'm looking forward to getting this one started. Day 10 of Maynia completed, and I did not want to stop stitching on this. I think I found my new favourite fabric. This is 40 count Ada, and by far my favourite that I've stitched on since trying even weave linens, a bit of hardanger, and of course Ada. But this Ada is so fine, this 40 count. Sorry, not 40 count, 20 count. And so far it has been the nicest to stitch on. It helps that the 8 is nice and soft. But I was doing 2 over 1, whereas the chart did say only to do 1 over 1. No, 1 over 2 on 36 count even weave. But I'm really pleased with how that's turning out. Liking the colour so far. Didn't want to stop stitching on this one, so... But I have to for day 11. Check in tomorrow. It is Saturday the 11th of May, and it is Saturday night, and I haven't yet done today's new start. I spun the wheel and we got the Cricut Collections December. This has been in my stash for a little while. Gorgeous chart for Christmas. And it has over 30 colours, which when I was kitting up for Maynia surprised me. It doesn't look like a big colour changer, but it is. So I'm starting this tonight with my little Pinot, and hopefully we'll get the D at least a good way started. I'm not using variegated threads as this one would show. I'm going to be using all DMC. I'm going to be doing it on a 28 count Sparklies Fabric of the Month, which is a, what they called it, a Brittany. Yeah, 28 Brittany even weave. So as you can see, it's got a bit of sparkle, which I thought was appropriate for Christmas. Lots of colours that need to be bobbinated as well, but that can wait for another day. So let's get a crack on Cricut Collection December on Saturday the 11th. As I said before, it's Saturday night and I've worked all day. I really wanted to get a good start on this. I really would have liked to get the whole D at least happening. I got that. And that's where I'm going to have to pull up stumps. I'm tired. It's Saturday night and that's how I spent my Saturday night tonight after work. So unfortunately this one's going to have to we'll have to go into the whip pile for some love in June. So that was my Cricut Collection December start for the 11th of May. Let's see what the wheel spins for tomorrow. Sunday the 12th of May, and my Tiny Decisions app has pulled French Heart. And to be honest, when it came up, I couldn't remember what French Heart is, or was. No, it is. So it's a shepherd's bush chart, and it's got, I must have bought it off eBay a long time ago and it's been in my stash. So the design is a little bit hard to see because it is a photograph. So it's got lots of muted colours in it, lots of different specialty stitches, which I'm looking forward to. However, The thread list is all in silks with no DMC conversion. So I've had to pull DMC purely based on the name of the colour. So I've pulled some colours that have ended up being a bit brighter than what we see here. So it's going to be a brights conversion of the Shepherd's Bush French Heart, but we'll see how we go. I've chosen 32 count even weave just in the white to do it on. Now this pattern calls for 1/2, which I haven't done yet, so I thought it's about time I give it a try. I'm worried it might be a little bit sparse, but it does say that the designer does say it is intended to be delicate. So we'll give that a start and see how we go. Being a Sunday, hopefully I might get some more time to work on it. I'm going to start on this character up in the top left-hand corner, which is just pure cross stitch, and then so I'm going to do all the cross stitch first and then fill in all the specialty stitches. So we'll see how we go with that. It's Monday morning and this is where I got to last night with the French Hearts by Shepherd's Bush. So this one, I wasn't completely looking forward to it, but I'm actually really enjoying it. Now, this one did call for 1 thread over 2, which I haven't done before, and I was worried it was going to be a bit sparse. And it is a bit sparse, but I think that's the whole point of the design. It's meant to be really delicate. But it was actually really easy stitching with 1 thread. It was just quicker, simpler. No, did tangle a lot, but that was my fault because I was still using the same length of thread because I do the loop method, and I was still using the same length of thread for just 1 strand. So note to self, cut threads shorter when doing over 1 thread. And this is the specialty stitch that I ended up doing. I haven't done specialty stitches before. I've only ever just done the cross stitch, so that was a lot of fun, and there's lots of specialty stitches throughout the whole border of this design. So all of these parts are specialty stitches, even around the border, so I'm really looking actually forward to doing more on this one. But so that was something new, something different, which was great. Now the threads that I picked are really quite bright and vibrant, but I like how they do sort of lend a more delicate tone to the design only being over 1. I've still got to do a bit of back stitching in this one, so it's not completely complete on that motif. But overall, happy with the start on Shepherd's Bush French Heart. Time to spin for today's new start. Monday the 13th of May, and we have a spring pin pillow chart pulled up by the Tiny Decisions app. I got this chart from a bendy stitchy D stash a couple of months ago, and it came with the linen. It does say on the chart 32 count weeks dye works linen, and it is a linen and it's 32, but I'm not sure if it's weeks. It doesn't have any labelling on it. And I'm using the called for flosses, and I will try and do a finish similar to what's in the picture. I haven't done a pillow yet, but of course we won't get that far today. I think I will make a start on the house and build from there, being that the house is the dominant one in this one. So looking forward to stitching this little small, and I'm glad we do have a small after a few big ones have been pulled up in a row. So spring pin pillow, Abbey Rose design, and I'll check back in later. It's Monday night, it's a little bit too late to keep stitching. However, I am finding it a little bit difficult now to stop with these new starts when I've only really just started. This is my spring pin pillow by the Abbey Rose Designs that I started today. I got a good solid start on it. My son had football training, so I had to wait for an hour in the car, so I got a big chunk of it done then. But I would like to keep going on it tomorrow, but it's a new start for tomorrow, so I'm going to have all these 31, well not 31 starts, it'll be 25 starts that I'll be itching to get back to because I've barely put much in on them. So this is where we got to tonight on this linen. I quite like working on it, it's really nice and soft. And it's 2/2. with the DMC threads. The colour conversion's not really matching what's in the picture, but I'm quite happy with how that's coming along. I'll speak to you tomorrow. Good morning, Tuesday the 14th of May, and we are starting In My Garden There Is by Filigram. I think I got this one off a bendy D-stash a couple of months ago, or I could have got it off Aussie Stitch Unloading, something like that on Facebook. So lots of little motifs in this guy. Should be a nice sort of easier, well, counting with these motifs is not always fun, but a nice relaxing type of stitch. Using some DMC and an anchor that I had in my stash. This did call for Gentle Arts, however I don't have any Gentle Arts, so that's why we're going with a DMC conversion. Doing it on 32 count even weave that I have dyed myself with some brown Rit dye, just to try and mimic the colour in the chart. So I'll check back in with you a bit later and see where we are. I'll probably start in the top left hand corner with the cherries. I'll touch back in soon. Week 2 comes to an end of Maynia, and this is where I finished up last night on In My Garden There Is by Filigram. Love the colours in this. It is just so gorgeous. I cannot wait to get back to it. I'm finding, I think the biggest, or the hardest thing for me in Maynia is stopping these projects just as they start to get exciting and I want to keep working on them. This one's been, surprisingly, I actually didn't think I'd really like this one, but surprisingly the colour scheme is just gorgeous. So I can't wait to get back to In My Garden There Is. So that was with DMC threads and 32 count even weave. So week 2 comes to an end. Tomorrow is week 3 of Maynia for a new vlog. So I'll see you in a week's time. Happy Maynia, everyone.